Now you may be wondering why I have some of these other tools out, like the punch, the Glock block, Glock frame holder. It's because I want to show y'all something. And again, the gun is clean, gun is clear, nothing in the chamber. But I want y'all to see something. Hold up. That little, you can even hear it. That little bit of grind or grit. I'm about to show you how you can make any Glock trigger run smoother, no matter what generation, you know, Gen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really any gun, but the reason I'm saying Glock is because every gun has a different trigger pull. So, and it's not bad. I'm not gonna be lightening the trigger or anything like that. I'm not gonna be lightening the trigger pull. I'm just gonna be polishing everything, all the internals. When you get these guns, you know, Glocks are well made, but when you get them from the factory, at least everyone I've seen, it's like they just take the parts and put them in. I've never seen any of them just polished. I've polished internals before, but I've never seen a gun that came with the internals polished, unless it's some high-end, you know. But just off the regular market, basic gun, you know, if you want your internals polished, you would have to get it done by a gunsmith or do it yourself. So get this frame taken down. I do like how the Gen 5s is just 2 pins. Can't fun on that. It's my first time taking apart the frame on this Gen 5 Glock. See, this needs to be cleaned. But as you can see, even though it needs to be cleaned, you can see the dirt from, and I've only put about, I don't even think I put 100 rounds through this, to be honest with you. You can see the little bit of carbon build up, but as you can see, for the most part, just look at it's no shine, and I wanted to have a mirror shine. So, okay, so I got the frame, got the trigger housing. I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble this. I might take the connector out too. Okay. So I'm gonna polish the connector. I'm gonna polish the trigger bar after I clean it, of course. I'm gonna clean it off first. And sometimes you can even, when you got the microfiber cloth, you can just rub the trigger bar and you can feel the little burrs, and because it'll snag, you can feel it snag in the cloth. And that's what you want to get rid of. And when I polish it, I'm going to be polishing it with Mothers, and then I'm going to polish it with Flitz. And when you polish it, you're not removing any material, but you don't want to stay in one spot too long. You want to stay moving with the Dremel. You don't want to bend the connector either. And the connector can be bent. It can be, and it can be bent easily, because sometimes there are times where you may need to bend it. I've never seen that issue with the actual Glock, but if you're into building Polymer 80s and things like that, you do have to bend your connector sometimes, so it's very easy to bend. Okay, so with my polishing, I got Mothers, mag and aluminum polish, and I got Flitz polish. I also got the Dremel with the little polishing wheel. I'm gonna start with the connector. So what you're doing when you're polishing the connector and the trigger bar, when it's in the trigger housing, the back of the trigger bar is sliding across like this. So you know, you just want all metal to metal contact to be as smooth as possible. That's why we're going to be polishing the connector, polishing the trigger bar on both sides, because this is the side that rides against the frame. And even though this is metal against polymer, you still just want it as smooth and without any burrs or, you know, defects. You want it nice and smooth as possible. You know the mothers is working when you see it turn black. You can already see the difference, but trust me, we're gonna do better than that. I'll put a little Flitz up here. Says you want to be light around here. Gotta give it that good wipe down with the microfiber cloth. All that off a trigger bar. We really just gotta hit this side because that's the only side. The other side is just up against the trigger housing. Okay, now that we done polished things up, I'm gonna go ahead and put things back together. Connector back into the trigger housing. Put the trigger back into the trigger housing. Goes under this, in this little slot here, under this first slot in the spring. And then the slot in the side of the trigger housing. It's amazing to think that they could have made the Glock simpler, the Gen 5 simpler, disassemble and reassemble than it was with the Gen 3s and stuff. Little trick tool. Now this is with Polymer 80s. I've never done it with an actual Glock, but with a Polymer 80, sometimes when you get a little too much trigger rub, you get the inside of the frame. The Dremel a little bit, you know, take a little bit off of that. It's just a little tip. There's a difference. So, if you don't like how your Glock trigger feels out the box, just know that you can always go inside, do some things yourself, you know. That doesn't take really much work, but it's definitely a difference. especially the brake. It's really different. You can really feel it at the brake. So yeah, I hope I was able to show y'all something. I hope y'all was able to get something out of that, you know. But until next time, y'all, Mega Guns, ThinkMegaTV, think greater than, and above all, be responsible. Bang, 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 bang.